Center, case. Reset. Arms. Order. Arms. Ready. Face. Forward. March.
Welcome. Please be seated. Thank you all for coming. We certainly appreciate the turnout. I know it's difficult at the holiday season, and this is a work day for many of the people here, and I appreciate you showing. We're commemorating the end of phase one of construction for the War Memorial. And it's very much, as you'll see, a work in progress. But we wanted to mark the end of this cycle. Primarily, we were concerned with handicap access. So we have the elevator, we have handicap access bathrooms, we have improvements throughout the building, and we still have a lot of work to do. But right now, it's at a point where we want people to take notice and say, look what's happening. Something very, very important is happening at the War Memorial, and we'd like to share it with the public. There's more to come. Things will get better as we go along. Things may slow down temporarily because of the funding situation, but we're going to plug along here. I've spoken on the TV and on the radio on a number of other occasions like this about the hope that this venue can be used as a performing arts center too. And that's an important aspect of what we're doing here. And some of the things we've done is to provide the skeleton of what can be something useful for a whole host of performing arts endeavors. The Brockton Symphony's here. They'll perform for us at the end of this program. There's dramatic groups, there's other groups that are involved with dance and some other aspects of cultural affairs that can help enrich the downtown area, and we continue to seek out collaboration, to seek out partners for that eventuality. But that's not the most important of the aspect of this building. This building was built as a symbol of the commitment and the appreciation of this community for the sacrifices of the men and women who served our country in times of war. And it's done that admirably for a number of years. Now it needs some sprucing up, some renovating if it's going to continue to serve that purpose. And that's what the hope is, and that's the primary goal. And because of that, we want to think about institutionalizing a Veterans Museum here. We want you to take a look around the building, see what's done, and see what's still yet to be done. We have active wars now. Our country's involved with two terrible conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's very much part of our daily life. And we need to recognize those people that have served, recognize their contribution. And we also have to be terribly aware that it's not something that's just happening over there. This is a new kind of threat to our culture, our society, our values. This war on terrorism is something new. We're just learning how to deal with it. And we have examples of how this impacts us in a very real, personal, right up front way. Our honorary chair is Attorney Kenneth Feinberg. One of the things he's done most recently is to serve as the special master in charge of supervising the federally funded Victims' Compensation Fund for the families of the victims of the 9/11 attack in our country. That brings it home. We haven't had that type of attack here in several years. And we hope that that'll be the case with our vigilance and with our mindfulness of the new threats that we're facing. But it's right around the corner. Just last week, we had that terrible attack in the hotel in India, and that was very much brought home to many of us in the room because one of our dear friends, Willie Stadelman, and his wife Jerry, were in that hotel. They were under attack. They were barricaded in their room for 16 hours with grenades and machine gun fire right outside the door. With the help of God and a big degree of luck and common sense, they were escorted out of the building by Indian Army commandos, immediately hopped on a plane and came home. I thought that Willie might be here today. I wanted to recognize his safe return and welcome him back, but apparently he didn't make it. So it's always there. We need to be vigilant. We need to be aware of the importance of our military as our first line of protection, our defense, and all of us must be appreciative of their activities. And that's one of the reasons why we need to preserve this particular building and this memorial. I'm going to begin our program now. I'm going to ask John Montagno. He's the commander of the American Legion Post 35, who maintains offices on the second floor of the building and been represented in this building since the very inception of its founding. So, Mr. Montagno is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. Now we're going to ask Tony O'Brien, who's part of our steering committee for the restoration of the building. He's been very active. Tony's a retired Naval SEAL, and he's newly elected Plymouth County Commissioner, and we're very pleased to have him here today. He's going to sing our national anthem.
Please rise. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
appreciate that. We got a special treat. We have Adriana Dorfine, who's 5 years old, and she's going to be accompanied by her sister Alexandra and her mother Stephanie Zanzinger. And she's going to sing her version of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans. What above, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I couldn't carry it to her if you put it in a bucket. She did great. I'm going to ask Colonel Robert Tripp to come and share some remarks with us. Colonel Tripp is the commander and the chief instructor at the Brockton High School, and he has these wonderful JROTC cadets, and we have a host of them up in the balcony. I'm glad to see you. Thanks for being with us today. We had some of them serve as a color guard for us. They're just marvelous. They're dedicated, and we're always pleased. They always come. When we call, they come. Colonel Tripp.
Thank you, Dr. Hagelin, Mr. Feinberg, Mayor Harrington, distinguished guests, citizens of the city of Brockton. As at the groundbreaking ceremony a year ago, I've been asked by Dr. Hagelin and Mayor Harrington to read the roll of honor of our local heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country during the current conflict. While I'm proud and very honored to do this, at the same time it is not easy for me, as I personally knew two of the young men whose names I will read. They were my former students in the Brockton High School Junior ROTC program. They are Tony Palermo, class of 1998, and Donald Fisher, class of 2002. I remember both of these young men, including their youthful personalities, their likes, their dislikes, and even some of their high school grades. But I will tell you, what stands out most about them in my memory is their love of life, their love for family, and their love of their country. And I will miss them. I miss them now, and I will for the rest of my life. I'm grateful, therefore, that Tony and Donald and their fellow heroes from this and every conflict where Brockton area citizens have answered the call of their nation. They'll be memorialized here by this building, this beautiful building, and its new dedication walkway. At this time, then, I would ask all of you to please stand. join me in paying respect to all of our 6 local servicemen who recently lost their lives in the service of our nation as I read from the Roll of Honor. Captain Anthony Palermo, Jr., United States Army of Brockton. Sergeant William J. Callahan, United States Marine Corps of Easton. Lance Corporal Walter O'Hare, United States Marine Corps of Rockland. Private First Class Matthew Bean, United States Army of Pembroke. Corporal Donald Fisher II, United States Army of Brockton. Specialist Corey M. Shea, United States Army of Mansfield. I ask now for a moment of silence, which will be followed by the playing of taps, the traditional military salute. It is played not only for these men, but also for all Americans who have lost their lives in the service of their country. Please be seated. Thank you. And thanks to Mr. Vincent Macrina, Director of Music for the Brockton Public Schools, and Joseph Donahue, one of his very accomplished students who played taps just now. Before I turn the podium back over to Dr. Hagelin and the other distinguished guests, I would like to recognize a few people that I know are in the audience. I just read the names of 6 brave Americans who lost their lives, unfortunately, in the service of the country. I know in this hall there are friends and relatives of these brave soldiers and Marines present, and I would ask them to please stand and be recognized. Miss Lisa Palermo. Lisa is Tony Palermo's sister, and up in the balcony, one of my cadets, Johnny Melendez, who was one of the cadets that presented the colors today, is Tony's brother. So welcome. I'm glad you could be, both of you, be here today with us. Thank you, Dr. Hagelin. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Tripp. Again, he's always there when we ask him. Thank you, Mr. Macrina and Joseph. Mr. Macrina's got a 1 o'clock scheduled course, so he told me right after he performs, they're going to make a hasty exit, so they're on their way back to the high school. At this time, it takes great pleasure to introduce my partner in crime here, co-chair of the Restoration Committee, and he's been steadfast in his commitment to this building and to this project, and we appreciate everything he's done for us. Mayor of Brockton, James Harrington.
Good afternoon, everyone. I had to get my final orders from Dr. Hagelin before I spoke. Nothing happens in this building until it goes through him. He's done an incredible job. I just want to say, you know, I think Dr. Hagelin and myself, and I know Ken Feinberg, believe that when you say we'll never forget, that means you have to take action to prove that you're never going to forget. And I think that's what we've made a commitment and a statement here, that we're going to restore this building so that everybody in Brockton and the general area and the region will be proud of it, and that for generations to come, our young people understand what it means to be a veteran and to give the sacrifices that these folks have given over their life. And there's so much history here that we're eager and excited about the opportunity to share that information and that education with our young people. And that will be one of the themes of this building going forward, with many other things that we're trying to do. So I want to take a moment, if I could, to thank some people for the help that they've given us in getting to this point. And as Dr. Hagelin said earlier, this is phase 1. I think the last count we thought there might be phase 25 by the time we're done, but we'll just keep chipping away at it one point at a time. And as we move along, you'll see the building and the area changes to this, and that the respect that this building was built with to be restored. First of all, I want to thank, obviously, the Feinberg, Ken Feinberg himself, and also the Feinberg Foundation for their help. Mr. Feinberg is a very modest man. I told him earlier that this project would have never got off the ground if he hadn't stepped up and made a commitment early on, a financial commitment, to get this thing off the ground. And we'll be forever grateful, Mr. Feinberg, for that. Thank you. The only downside of that is, you have to take Mr. Feinberg's friends along with him too. So I've had to become a partner at the hip with Dr. Hagelin for the last year and a half. So. And I'd take a minute there just to say that also. I kid with him all the time. Somebody said Dr. Hagelin was a pain in the neck. I said, he's our pain in the neck. And I'll tell you something, we would not have ever got to the point we are in this building without his help and his supervision. I want to thank Charlie Altieri, who's here from Auburn Construction, who did the renovations, and I'm sure Charlie can tell you, by the time he was done, he probably didn't want to talk to Dr. Hagelin anymore, but he stuck it out and he did a great job. And Charlie, thank you for all the work that you did. I want to especially thank the veterans organizations, the Italian-American veterans, the Veterans Council, the American Post 35, who we really displaced them while we were doing the work here in the building, and they were very cooperative and helped us to get it done. I want to thank Colonel Tripp and his ROTC cadets. You know, the ROTC, junior ROTC cadets here in Brockton, we always talk about the City of Champions. Well, they've gone on to win state competitions, be involved in regional and national competitions all over, and they're doing a great job. Congratulations, kids. We're very proud of you. You know, another one of Mr. Feinberg's friends, Barry Corix, is another one of those guys that Dr. Hagelin and I have been driving crazy, but Barry, thanks for all that you and your company have done to help us. I really appreciate it. And Joe Vassapolo, who's here, who's our building superintendent, and I asked Joe yesterday, I happened to drive by and there was like 8 city trucks out front. I said, what are they holding, a union meeting over there? But as you can see, they did a heck of a job. This place is spotless today. Joe, thank you, and I hope you pass your thanks to you guys. Thank you. And also, I don't believe he is here, but another guy that really helped us tremendously was Steve Cruz from the BRA. We couldn't have done it without Steve, and I know he's not here, but I wish he was, because he also helped us get started, and we continue to use CDBG money to complete the project. And lastly, I want to thank, I see Mike Brady's here from the City Council. Mike's now a new elected state representative, and the cooperation of the City Council and Mike and those to get this done has been a huge thing. I want to thank them also. I know Representative Jerry Creedon is here, and Representative Tom Kennedy, well, everybody's got new titles. Tom's now been elected to the Senate. Congratulations, Tom. and also Senator Robert Creedon, who is now the Clerk of Probate Court, was here, and all of these folks together have made this, and Christine Canavan, Representative Christine Canavan, all these people together have made this happen. And as we go forward, and we will go forward, we're well on our way to planning what Phase 2 is going to include, and it's going to start doing some work on the outside of the building and also do some electrical upgrades. So we'll continue to work at it, and we appreciate all of you being here today, and your thanks. It's now an honor and privilege to take a minute to introduce another Brockton champion and a great Brockton guy, and as I talked about him a little earlier, Ken Feinberg. Dr. Hagelin talked a little bit about some of his accomplishments. Well, he's had many, and I know most of you know them. I don't need to go into it, but I want to introduce Ken to say a few words, and before I do, I just want to again thank him from the bottom of my heart, because we know that we have never got started if it wasn't for him. Thank you very much, Ken. Ken Feinberg.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It is a glorious day to be back in Brockton, Massachusetts, and I'm thrilled to be back in Brockton, just for a few hours, but for a very, very worthy cause. You have to understand how exciting it is to come back to Brockton, because when I come back, I see and meet old high school, junior high school, grammar school friends. And it's just very, very invigorating to come back to Brockton. And I can't, if I start naming names, starting with Harold Gooden, who went to kindergarten with my brother and myself, we'd be in big trouble. But I do want to notice a couple of things here today. Every time I come back to Brockton, Elaine Stone is here. Now you have to understand, class of 1963, Brockton High School, I followed Elaine Stone around. Now she follows me around. It's very emboldening. It's very exciting that Elaine Stone, whenever I come to Brockton, Elaine Stone is here. And I notice that Diane Haglin's mother is here every time. She is a true Feinberg groupie. And it's nice to see her every time I come to Brockton. So this is really a very, very exciting time. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands why the renovation of this building is so important to me, to the Feinberg Foundation, to the Brockton community, greater community. This is a great, great building. It is filled with history. It is filled with importance. And what we are trying to do now is restore this building to its former luster and greatness. It is a formidable challenge to do this. With the economy, with the difficulties, financial difficulties that the city, the community, the state, the nation find ourselves in. But we are determined that sooner rather than later, we will open up this building with completely renovated. And it will be a building that everybody in this area will want to visit. We've got a lot of work yet to be done. And you know, once you start singling out people, as we've been doing this morning, lunchtime, responsible for this, you run into great difficulty. But I can tell you from my personal perspective, there are 3 people who I am convinced we would never be where we are but for the mayor of Brockton, Mr. Harrington, who has shouldered this burden and is determined to see us get it done. My lifelong friend, Barry Koritz, Architect Supreme, who has been monitoring every aspect of these repairs, to see that we don't shortchange that renovation. And the single most important person is, of course, Dr. Haglund. For some reason, it's still not clear to me, he has made this his primary community activity. And I'm here today because, frankly, Dr. Haglund called and said, "You will be here today." Well, I have to do, no, you will be here. And, well, you get here, like the mayor says, you know, he tells you to do something, here I am. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the community for its support in getting this task well on the way to completion. The challenges are great, but when we are finished, people will come from all over to once again take a look at this cherished building of the Commonwealth. And it is Brockton's pride and joy. So I promise you that I will be back, and I will continue to make this a priority. And I thank all of you for helping make it a reality to the point where we've gotten so far. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ken. We're nearing the end of our formal program. We have members of the Brockton Symphony that are going to perform for us. At the conclusion of their performance, they may continue providing some atmospheric music for us. We're going to ask you to enjoy some light refreshments as fruit and cheese and crackers and some beverages at the back of the room. Please help yourself. The cadets, there's some out in the hallway there. Please help yourself. If they make you go back to school, take something with you in your pockets. It's okay. Once again, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to introduce Mr. Torben Hansen. He's the chairman of the Brockton Symphony Orchestra. They've had a presence here at the building for approximately the last 5 years, and it's been fits and starts because this building has been under construction, and they rehearse here. They have dedicated office space and storage space for their instruments, and we're very pleased to see them here, and we hope they continue their presence, and we hope as we go beyond some of the really disruptive repairs that they'll have more of their concerts here. Mr. Hansen, Torben Hansen.
Thank you, Dr. Haglund. It's a pleasure to be here for the ceremony. You may not realize it, but the Brockton Symphony is celebrating its 61st season in the Brockton community. At our last concert, one of our patrons said, "I do believe the orchestra will be around for another 60 years. I will gladly come back." We're excited and pleased to be part of the restoration project on the War Memorial Building, and are enthusiastic to be able to share it with the veterans who protect our country. We look forward to its completion. Currently, we rehearse here on Monday evenings, and very soon we will have office space available to us and storage space for our instruments. And we anticipate performing in this building in the very, very near future. Matter of fact, just as an aside, this morning we were talking about possibly getting some chamber music in here, maybe even this year. Please allow me to personally thank Dr. Haglund and Attorney Feinberg and the Restoration Committee for including the symphony in their plans, and Mayor Harrington and his staff for supporting the orchestra and bringing the culture to the city. I would like to just take 1 minute to invite you to our annual Pops concert this Sunday. It's going to be at West Junior High School, right down the street from here. Dr. Emilian Badea will lead the Brockton Pops Orchestra in classical and popular seasonal favorites. Featuring on our program is going to be Francesca Simone, Miss Rhode Island, who will inspire you with her supple voice, and Lisa Villani from our own Brockton South Middle School Chorus will bring a smile to your face with her youthful and spirited singing. Now, we'd like to give you just 2 brief samples of what you may find on our Sunday's program. First, I'd like to introduce to you our principal trumpet, Mr. Wayne King, and he is going to be accompanied by our assistant conductor, again, Dr. Emilian Badea, from a Puccini aria. It's called O mia Babino Cara. Wasn't he terrific? Thank you. And one last taste of what's to come on Sunday. And what would a holiday concert be without a little Christmas festivity? And we are from our own Boston Pops Wind Quartet. We'll play a Christmas medley for you. We have Susan Kaplan and Carolyn Boffman will be playing flute. I'm going to put down my hat as chairman and pick up my clarinet. And our assistant conductor, Dr. Badea, will put down his accordion and pick up the bassoon. So if you'll give us a minute to set up here, we'll have a brief selection of Christmas carols. Again, my name is Torben Hansen, and these are the Brockton Symphony players. And we hope to see you on Sunday, and thank you again.
Can you see okay? Cable, okay. Now I feel like there's a holiday coming. That was terrific. We appreciate you being part of our program. They're going to linger and play for us, but the formal part of our program will be concluded. So please help yourself to some of the refreshments up there and take a tour. Take a look around the building at some of the things we've done and some of the areas that have been renovated, and you'll get some idea of what needs to be done. And once again, thank you very much for coming.